I was inspired to come on today with a kind of part 2 to a video that I did about a year ago concerning as above, so below, how it is that the state of one single cell or a single organism can be a reflection of the state of the whole. And I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of energies for August in general, because when we did the Lionsgate reading, there was a bit on letting go of what no longer serves in order to welcome in and allow the new influx of energies in the life that you really want to manifest. So I wanted to go in with a little bit of support on how to purge these things, how to make space for the new so that we can actually enjoy and welcome it. And that's where the thing about like how a single cell or how you are experiencing your life currently is a reflection in terms of what you see in your life and what goes on around you. So basically, in order to purge these energies, there's a little bit of release that needs to go on. Release of attachments, release from concepts of the past that no longer serve us, and a little bit of support for this is sometimes necessary, whether that's through putting in a particular system that will allow you to release these attachments, gaining accountability from somebody in order to feel like you are hitting those goals consistently without getting mired in the kind of quagmire of guilt and denial, where you tend to maybe forget that you aren't doing anything and then can't really get out of where you're at, whether it's physical detoxification in order to let go of addictions. Perhaps it's doing a little bit of a cleanup on your friend circle or the types of activities that you're engaging in. All of this can help to shift one to a higher level of awareness. Because as soon as you kind of cut off these energy draining aspects, there's space for something new to come in. So I went in with a little bit of a reading. Basically, the overall energy is the 9 of Wands, and this considers kind of opposition and delay, being expectant, having the ability to overcome anything so long as one is vigilant and able to basically figure out where the energies are coming from and what to ride with and what to let go of. I did a kind of past, present, future look at things, and what I want to say is that the 5 of Cups over here in the past position basically says that you can cry over spilled milk, or you can look to what's coming, because you can no longer have any control over what's been. The blessings that are going to come are going to be accepted in the present moment and embraced and used. Anything that happens to you is a lesson, whether it is a good or a bad thing. And we tend to label things as good or bad in our lives. But at the end of the day, they're all part of your soul contract and your soul growth, and they will allow you to reach higher and higher levels and purify yourself of wounds and experiences that you might not remember, that might be embedded in your subconscious, not only from your lifetime, but from other lifetimes and from generations and generations ago, because we carry all of that information within us. The living library of light is within you, the DNA that you carry. So, in terms of the past, not crying over things that can no longer be altered, and instead looking to the blessings that are still there, the things that are to come, the things that you have right now, essentially filling one's cup with gratitude. And the 4 of Swords over here, it's kind of like, what sides are you picking? Who are you fighting with? Who are you picking fights with? What sides are you taking in your own mind? Can you see that there is a separation going on between you and your true self? Sometimes we can support things but never really question why they are there or who they serve. And a lot of times these are aspects within our own selves that we have not come to question yet, and we might find ourselves fighting wars that don't actually serve our highest good. So what I want to introduce over here is a kind of the future outlook, is the World card. And this is amazing, because this is speaking of cycles and karma and breakage of curses and kind of coming into your own. The reason that I did a video now, I guess, concerning a little bit of the stuff I talked about a year ago is because I wanted to mention that the journey is the destination. There is no fixed destination. Year after year, month after month, day after day, you are renewing yourself. You are rebirthing. You are coming out anew. You have a chance over and over again to grow and to expand. Like, believe that you came into this life to become the very best version of yourself. Even if it's taking you years, even if it feels like you are stuck in the lowest of lows, believe that every single thing that is happening for you. It's happening for a reason. And it's going to elevate you out of where you're at. Because it's not a linear journey. It's more like a spiral where you kind of revisit levels you've been to before, but with a different vantage point, with more experience, with more wisdom. And you're able to kind of face certain addictions that maybe a year ago would have floored you, but you realize you've grown so much when you can face that very same addiction now, look it in the face and say, no, thank you. I'm good. Thanks. So celebrate your progress today. Even if it's a little thing, like even if you're considering it to be a little thing, to the older version of you, it would have been a huge thing. So you are growing, you are evolving, and you are evolving exactly on time. All these cycles come to you exactly when they need to. And any moment is a moment where you can choose to break generational curses. And by this, I mean, if your entire family line has sacrificed themselves not to live out their dream, it can change with you. You can be the one that then lives out your dream. You can be the one that makes it a reality. And there you go. That's you cleaning the slate, clearing that karma. When you choose to forgive somebody, you let them go. You let those cords go. That story no longer needs to play out because you've learned the lesson. So this is an important aspect to mention over here, the Chariot card. The one where you are basically in control of this chariot. You are riding it into battle. And what you face and what you see is dependent on what you learn from and what you take as a blessing and what you grow from. And right now, I think the biggest message that I can give overall for this energy in this month is that realize that this is not happening despite you and in order to punish you. This is happening for you. And when you are brave enough to face the shadows, to understand that things happening to you are not punishments, but rather teaching you something, or an aspect that you have shunned or suppressed, if you look at it, if you face it full on with courage and love, you will see the lesson. You can grow from that. You can change. You can change. This is an aspect that's been deeply embedded into our cultures and generationally part of these curses. The fact that we seem to think it is the way it is the mantra, and that's it. That you can't change, that you can't grow. If they've always been doing it this way, you can't bring in a new way. But you can. You can. And I assure you that the new way that you will think of is going to be amazing. It's going to be something that no one else thought of. And only you can implement and bring into the world. So today is an encouragement to remind yourself of that dream, to take hold of those reins and bring this vision into reality. See, the Six of Cups is concerned with service, with giving and taking. Now, you can't only take without giving, and at the same time, if you give too much of a cup that is not being filled in with inner inspiration, you're going to get defeated and depleted. So the message overall is that when you find that thing which is your dream, your message to the world, that you have come in to break all old curses and bring in a new energy, realize what energy it serves. This energy of service, of helping others, is probably going to sustain you a lot longer than service to self. See, this aspect of celebrating and joy, it's yours to take. It comes from the desire of your heart, that which your heart truly wants to experience and bring into this world. And because we're all connected, your joy is my joy. This is an aspect of connectivity that separation and illusion and factions of the ego fighting with each other mask from us. In one of the other videos that I was looking at from about a year ago, I was speaking of the allegory of Pythagoras' cave, where there's a bunch of people sitting inside a cave, staring at the wall, and there are shadows on the wall. Now, they do not turn around, they do not question, and they do not understand that the shadows are cast upon the wall by a fire behind them, with people holding like puppets or shapes, and that is shining onto the wall, reflecting onto the wall. And this is an aspect that a lot of the times we can get sidetracked by. The fact that we believe that the things that we are experiencing and seeing are exactly the way that they are, without questioning where they are coming from and whether or not they could be illusions. And see, if these people would turn around and look, they would notice what was actually happening. If they would walk out of the cave, they would find an entire other world and arena to play in, such as the outside world and the bright sun shining upon them. So at the end of the day, this is this illusion that we are separate and that we cannot, that if you care for yourself, you are neglecting everyone else, or that it's a materialistic circumstance where you're only meant to look out for yourself. That is just an illusion. You can make a change just as much as anybody else. Anybody that's told you that you cannot change anything, that you better sit down because that one action that you are choosing to do differently in life is not going to change anything. It changes everything. I'm here to tell you that it changes everything because you are everything. So there's not much you have to do. It's not like you have to sign up to certain classes or do certain things or hit certain benchmarks. As I've said before, just being you is the revolution. Just being yourself, bringing your energy, elevating yourself, liberating yourself from the curses and the traumas and the patterns that your entire generation line has been enslaved in. That's liberation on all levels. When you free your DNA from the grasp of the same old patterns, you retroactively free the entire line because you all carry the same information. Now, I don't know if you know this, but we are all energy. We are energy. Masquerading as matter, manifesting in and out of reality at split-second rates. If we are energy, and what we have to cultivate is our very own vibration, then the message overall of this month is becoming a master of your emotions, not identifying with them, realizing that they are energies. A lot of them have been stuck in our energy field. And in releasing them, in allowing them to flow without stagnancy, higher and higher states of awareness can come through. Because a big part of the reason that we are suffering and there's a lot of pain going on in the world is suppression. Suppressing aspects of ourselves that we cannot deal with, whether that's people that we are judging in a certain way, behaviors that we've deemed shameful or wrong, things that we have cast out of society, such as people that commit crimes, being isolated and placed out of sight, out of mind in facilities where they are not rehabilitated, sorry, or brought back into wholeness. These aspects of ourselves that we cast away, we basically doom to live out the same old cycles. The only way forwards is to allow space for these things to be seen. Allow space for these things to be integrated and healed, transmuted, and accepted. So I'm just going to go in here with the cartouche. Woo! Excited. Change and motion, spiritual birth, allowing us into higher and higher states of awareness. It really does come from realizing what needs to be let go of and what needs to stay. Natural order concerns the natural law of the land. There is a universal law that operates all things. When we deviate from this law, we experience disease, sickness, separation, illusion. We experience unrest, emotions of anguish and suffering. Now, when we work with these natural laws, when we learn them and apply them, for instance, going by the path of least resistance, allowing things to flow through, regardless of what we've been taught, regardless of whether we've been taught to suppress our emotions, hold them down, that it's not okay to feel, realize that in order to overcome anything, you must go for it. You must experience it. You must go into that battle, not with blinders on, but ready to face what you see. Because oftentimes what you are facing is simply a shadow on the wall. And when you go through this experience fully, and you are open to questioning it and understanding it, you might realize that it's very different than what you thought. In order to heal on all levels, you really only need to start on one. And this card speaks of our very DNA. The fact that we carry the blueprint within us for greatness, for divinity, but also for all the sicknesses and diseases that we see today in the world. This is a living library that lives within you. You can access it. You can activate parts of it. You can alter it. You can speak to your body and basically promote sickness, or you can promote health. Now, healing on all levels, beginning with the physical, also includes the mental and the emotional. Healing these aspects of ourselves can denote cutting ties with toxicity, whether that's just on the physical level or also cutting out people, as well as emotions, purging things. Purging, I believe, highest of all, things that we could truly aim to eliminate and face in our lives is deception. Starting with self-deception, denial, justification, hiding from ourselves. The truth is uncomfortable, but the truth is the only thing that will set us free. So, perhaps committing to telling people in our lives the truth, telling ourselves the truth about how we really feel. Pretending that we feel differently than we do isn't going to change anything about our emotions. So, I wanted to go ahead and go in with a little EFT exercise for allowing more embracing of new energies, as well as releasing old things that don't serve us. We did this one last time. This time I want to do a little bit more focused work on any internalized beliefs that you might have about yourself. So feel free to go in and adapt this exercise with anything that comes to mind. There's no script. It's up to you what you feel like you need to release and what you feel like you might want to embrace. Now, before we go in, I'm going to point out the points for the EFT, or the emotional freedom technique. A tapping sequence. So you basically have the karate chop over here. You have the eyebrows up here. You have the edges of the eyes, underneath the eyes, underneath the nose, under the chin. We have the collarbone. We have under the arm, or the other arm. And then you've got the top of the head. And this is basically, you could do it in one spot, or you could do it all over the head. And as we're going through the sequence, I want you to be taking deep breaths. Deep breaths to feel out the words that you're experiencing, and to let out these deep breaths, particularly with the last head meridian. At the same time, when you do this for yourself, you can actually go much longer than I would be able to on video, and keep going until you essentially feel that the certain emotion that you were working on was released. But we'll just do a quick sequence now. Okay, so even though I have been taught to believe that things are impossible, that I cannot achieve anything in this world, that this is the way that it is, today, I open myself up to a new way of being. I open myself up to the possibility that that could be wrong. I open myself up to the possibility that perhaps I am exactly who I need to be. I am exactly where I need to be. And I carry within me a message that is very powerful that I long to bring into the world. Even though I have been taught a life of lockdown, that I do not deserve to exist, that my voice is going to be drowned out by the cacophony of this chaotic world, I persist today. And in order to do so, I allow myself to release all the energies, all the lockdowns, all the imprints, all the things that do not serve me. I release these things that do not serve me in order to allow space for the new to come in order to allow myself to fully express myself as who I truly am. Now, this information that I've learned, these patterns, these cycles that my ancestors have lived out over and over and over again, I understand, I know that they are strong. I know that they have controlled me as well. But today, I recognize that I can step through. I can step forth. I can step up for myself. I can release these stories because I could see that they no longer serve me. I could see that they do not serve me. And I'm allowing myself today, even for a little bit, to acknowledge that what I have to bring into the world, my beliefs, my mission, my vision, is worth saying, is worth living. I believe that I can do it, that I am evolving and changing each day into a higher and better version of myself, and that the world needs me. I hope that this exercise has found you well, and that today you find the courage, like every day, to be a little bit more yourself. Have a great day.